Hi, my name is Angelica Medlin, and I am one of the Cal State Fullerton Writing Center tutors. Today, I will be presenting on writing abstracts. So what exactly is an abstract? The best way to think about an abstract is that it is a summary of a text, usually something like a dissertation or a longer research paper. This is generally the summary of an argument, often to be presented at conferences. Not always, but a lot of the time, this is what the abstract is preparing the writer for. They are usually between 250 to 300 words, but they can be more or less. This really depends on the conference that the essay is going to be presented at. And in the case of like research papers and assignments at school, it can depend on what the professor wants as well. Again, these abstracts can summarize a full paper, but they can also summarize papers that are work in progress or that are not completed yet. Essentially, what the abstract aims to do is break the paper down into bite-sized parts. The three parts of the abstract are usually the historical or scholarly context, which is what other texts are saying, historically related events, arguments for and against the topic, etc. Next is how the text should be read. This is what the writer, you, are seeking to do. Are you seeking to fill in a gap, advance an argument, contradict an argument, offer an interpretation of a topic, etc.? And then finally, you have the delivery of the argument of the paper itself. Now, something to keep in mind is these parts do not have to remain in this order, and we will discuss that a little bit more as we take a look at some sample abstracts. Here is sample abstract number 1. Go ahead and pause the video here and read through this abstract. All right, perfect. So what I've done in the next slide is I've gone ahead and broken down this abstract into those three parts mentioned in the previous slides. We have a red section, we have a purple section, and we have a pink section. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of break these down in order, starting with the red section. So first, we have that historical or scholarly context. Go ahead and pause the video here and read through this section of sample abstract number 1. So we know this is historical or scholarly context because we have a couple of key points here. We have dates, we have names, we have locations. So that is a really good indication that this is kind of setting a background for why we are discussing this topic. Next, we have how the text should be read. Go ahead and pause the video here and read through this section. So here we know this is how the text should be read because now we're getting a little bit more into depth about our topic. We're also talking about other scholars and what they are saying as well. So there's a little bit of overlap with historical and scholarly context. That's okay. But this is a little bit more in depth about the topic itself. And then finally, we have deliver the argument of the paper. So go ahead, take a second and pause the video here to read through this part. And so we know this is the delivery of the argument because this is kind of the roadmap for the rest of the essay. So that one's kind of an easier one to pick out. Now we have sample abstract number 2. Go ahead and pause the video here and take a second to read through it. Now, again, like with the first abstract, I've broken this one down into parts, but as we're going to see, these parts are a little bit different. Rather than starting with the historical or scholarly context, this particular abstract actually starts with the argument, which, as we can see by the two areas that are highlighted in pink, is throughout the abstract. So that tells us that we do not have to have our delivery of the argument at the end of the abstract. We can have it at the beginning, we could even have it in the middle. But the important thing to keep in mind here is all three parts still remain. We still have historical and scholarly context in the red. We still have how the text should be read in purple, and we still have the delivery of the argument in pink. Now, there are other ways to write abstracts. There is not one particular way. So a couple other ways to break down an abstract is to break it down by research problem and objectives, the methods that you use, key results and arguments, and your conclusion. There's also, especially for APA papers, a kind of percentage breakdown. 25% of the paper is on purpose and the importance of your research. 25% is on what was done or your methods of researching and what you uncovered, and which brings us to number 3, which is 35% on the findings or results, and 15% on the implications of that research. So there really is no one way to write an abstract. You use whatever methods are going to be the most beneficial and useful to you. Quiz time, short quiz. We have 4 questions. Number 1, approximately how long does an abstract need to be? Number 2, true or false? An abstract does not need historical or scholarly context. Number 3, can an abstract only be written for a completed paper? And number 4, is there only one way to write an abstract? Go ahead and pause the video, take a second to work through these questions, and then go ahead and share with a partner or a classmate or even your dog. Thank you all so much. I hope this information was very useful, and we hope to see you next time.